Hello, hello. How are we doing this morning? Well, it's Friday. Got through another week, at least another week in the stock market. I was encouraged by the stock market activity yesterday. Um, Frankly, it wasn't up or down thousands of points. But yeah, in yesterday's calm, I started thinking about something. All right, I started how many folks I've not been for most from like betting on the American economy. And the American economy has proven time and time again, if you're in for the long haul, um, it will take care of you. We certainly have traumatic events. There are certainly times of great chaos and stress. So I feel for the 30-year-old who invested in the stock market the last couple of years or the last decade and knew nothing but good times. I feel bad for the folks that chased Tesla up and now it's reversed, but yes, it's bouncing. I just had time to reflect on the chaos of the last 3 weeks. And again, try to internalize it and relate it to the .com chaos and the ultimate six-figure losses that I recognized. It is true that much of my losses were in companies that disappeared. Right, most of my losses were in Enron, and then followed by WorldCom in quick succession. Those two companies turned out to be led by executives or culture that were fake. And that hurt, right? Especially back to back. If I had done my homework and if I'd done some more research, I could have invested in nearly any other company, held on and survived. So I share this because, you know, I'm not going back to stocks. Don't take this as I'm changing my tune. I won't. I have my thing. My thing is affordable housing, right? I know it. I look at it every day. I make decisions and it's worked. But for some folks, maybe you don't have the time to learn your market. Maybe you're not ready to do it in life. I think not doing rental properties, but also not doing stocks and just saving in a savings or money market account. I fear too many of us will do that. Too many of us will look at the red numbers, sell, right? I think we had capitulation this week. And you're going to swear off stocks for 5 years, 8 years. And that's probably going to prove to be a mistake. So I don't know. I was just thinking about that yesterday. The American economy, Warren Buffett, just read Warren Buffett's biography, right? If you're home, look it up. The one I like is actually a pretty old one. I think it's called American Capitalist. It's the unauthorized biography. I think it was written like 20 years ago. You could read his approved biography, which is called Snowball. Um, Snowball's just a little intense. It's like this thick. The American Capitalist was a lot better, I thought. But do something. This is starting to feel like 9/11 to me, and I'm not talking about the tragedy of the loss of life and the unexpected nature, but what I am talking about is just the amount of time staring at the TV, going, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God," right? I think we need to unplug. If you're a long-term holder, check out for a while. Like spend the weekend reading, taking a walk with your family, because we will get through this. There is no question. So I don't know. Sorry, long-winded way of saying I feel for the folks that look at this and don't don't keep going. So back to what really matters today. I think the stock market is behaving almost normal today. We'll see what happens after in the last hour. It is quadruple witching day. It is often one of the most valuable days. There are 4 of these a year. So I can only imagine what this will do on top of what has already been tremendous volume. Um, it's interesting. First note I wanted to have is if I'm actually in California, right, Silicon Valley. About a week ago, we talked about what Santa Clara County did. But actually, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, right, has instituted a stay home order. So And it doesn't even have a date. It says stay home until further notice. That was a little disconcerting, I won't lie. I would have rather had him say stay at home till April 7th, subject to change. That would have made me feel better. This whole open ended nature is weird. That affects 40 million people. 40 million people. All I got to say is he must have access to data that just scares him to death. Um, yeah, it's just crazy. Um, so that was a big thing. I do think jobless claims next week, as I said in the title, is going to be something we've never seen before, and we're gonna have. I think we're gonna have record weeks the next 2 or 3 weeks as people look for support. You get unemployed, you get let go. Lots of small and medium businesses are shutting down, rightly so. They're not solvent. I think we're going to see 7 figures in unemployment claims, new applications, 7 figures. And I think it might be 2 million. Again, realize that these numbers coming up the next 4 to 6 weeks are scary, but we have to go through them. Watch the stock market because the stock market is often an early indicator. As I've said yesterday, I'm starting to feel better. I think the market is just going to flush Q1 earnings, flush Q2 earnings, and go, okay, you know, we're going to have growth again in Q3. Um, I also think Q2 will be a double-digit negative GDP hit. Um, I saw the first double-digit number from an analyst. I'm going to go with somewhere between 12 and 15%, which is unheard of. Um, yeah, I can. The traffic in LA has just got to be weird, right? Yeah, it's like, oh my God, I can get somewhere in 20 minutes. It's crazy. So that is interesting. Again, the stock market is the future. If today stays in the hundreds up or down, it's 2 days in a row. I actually don't care if we're up 2 days in a row. I want the swing in the market to be hundreds of points, not thousands of points. That was getting to be unhealthy for all of us. Um, so the other thing to look at is it's interesting to see that China is back, right? So their iron fist or whatever you want when they put Wuhan on lockdown and other cities on lockdown, there's proof it works. Now, they're a communist country and they have an iron fist, and we've all heard reports about how they treated people that tried to go to the grocery store. That won't happen, knock on wood, in the US. But it's just encouragement that this, if you suffer for a few weeks and you sit on your couch and you read or you spend time with family, that we can all get through this, and that's what we all want. Uh, the good news is these are Chinese numbers that we can agree because we're not getting them from China itself. We're getting them from companies, U.S. companies, which is very encouraging, right? Starbucks has talked about China activity coming back. Apple has talked about it. So I know none of us really agree on the government numbers produced by China, but we should feel good about our companies telling us the truth because they are looking at Chinese data from their homeland in America. So I feel good about that. I did see a really interesting article talking about Wall Street being toast. I do think that one of the things we look back on when we're on the other side of this is a lot of the activities that have been going on Wall Street will once again prove to be unhelpful in times of crisis. That being ETFs, index funds, especially the 3, 4 times up, whatever down. Uh, Really, the computerized training, kind of doing these complex algorithms, is just the machines take over. But really, where I think this comes down is hedge funds. I think hedge funds will have more restrictions on them after this. I keep hearing more and more about hedge funds who had 10 times, 12 times, 15 times book leverage being illiquid. And they're caught in positions. And I think this is a lot of the stuff that's going on in the treasury and these other markets. It's why silver paper is down when physical silver is nowhere to be found for most part. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I did see that 2 senators, I think it were, sold some stock as they were talking up the market. I thought that was, I think that was certainly criminal. I have heard different reports whether or not they'll go to jail because I think there's some kind of insider trading clause that they have. But fire them or get them out, make them resign. That's unacceptable. I'm tired of the rich getting a free pass. The rich and powerful getting a free pass. You get found out, lynch them, put them in the streets. You're out of a job. You can't come back. Penalty box. That's just crazy. The other thing is, I don't think we're thinking big enough or fast enough. I know all these things that feel uncomfortable. Now that California, 40 million people are on lockdown, these are the things that if we really want to get through this together, I think we got to ground all the airlines, except if you're flying freight and cargo and these test kits and all of that stuff, right? The airlines are clearly going to get a bailout. I hope they don't get a bailout at all. I hope we buy their common stock so the American public benefits when we get out of this. Last thing I want to see is grants or free money coming. That just pisses me off. So let's ground the airlines. Let's keep them on the ground for 3 weeks. Let's build up the need, the demand, and let's get through this together. I do think we got to tell the nation to stay home. I'm still discouraged about all the beaches in Florida and Miami. Sorry to pick on Florida. That's just what came across my social media feed. It's proven this virus is easy to carry. It doesn't affect a lot of people, but when you get hit and you're in the right age group, it's fatal. So let's stop killing our grandparents and parents in some case. And oh, by the way, I'm seeing a lot more reports about young people, right? Millennials. I think I saw a report yesterday that 40% of the people in intensive care are under 30. That doesn't sound good to me. So, let's stay home. Also, we better start sending checks. I'm going to put a date here, see how it holds up. We have to send checks. We have to communicate that we're sending checks to folks before Wednesday of next week. If we don't, if the politicians keep playing stupid schoolyard games by name calling, when they release that unemployment claims number on Thursday morning, game over. Right? It's going to be 2 million people. We need to start putting W's on the board like I've talked about. And we better put a big ass W on the board before that number. That way we can say, don't worry, you all got some money. You'll be fine. We're going to get through this in a month or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it is. And we'll snap back. They're finally talking about small businesses. I did see something, Section 1105 in, I think it was Schumer's bill, that they're saying, hey, if you keep employees on board, we'll give you essentially free money, essentially. Some kind of government grant for small businesses under 500 people. If you don't lay off and for the next 4 months, you get that money for free. I just saw a headline on that, but they're starting to talk. But stop talking, start doing. It's the time for talk. The time for politics is over. You better do something this weekend. Is my hope, and the last chance you have is Wednesday, in my opinion. Yeah. So again, the numbers are about to get very, very scary, but hopefully you're seeing or hearing from me. I'm getting more and more encouraged. Right? I can look forward, right? If you go back and watch, I was nervous before most people were nervous. Now I'm excited before most people are excited, right? So hopefully you're seeing that change. Yeah, so again, there's a couple of things I'm doing on our end. If you follow this channel for any length of time, I have one commercial office building called The Hub. I just sent a note out to all of my tenants and told them that April 1st rent is free. No need to pay me, not being added to any other month. I just want you to survive. I do see The Hub as being a team that is going to help hundreds, if not thousands of people after this crisis. So my rent's cheap. They probably would have all paid anyway, but if I can do our small part to help them get through this, it's a good thing. Hopefully it shows them how much I have faith in them. So we'll see how that is received. And I'm willing to delay May's rent as well, or actually not delay. What is it called? Eliminate May's rent if I have to. I told them I would decide in late April. Because again, I want people I know, trust, and respect to be ready to rock and roll. And if I could save them a couple of $100, this is the least I can do, right? This is what you get by being conservative. I set up that business in its own entity. Owning the building free and clear certainly provides me no threat of mortgage. But don't be confused. I spend about $1,000 a month on that building in expenses, right? Utilities, I've asked them to make sure it's turned off, but that'll be something. Cleaning, $100 a month. Alarm, I think $200 a month. Phones, freaking phones are $400 a month, right? So I'm gonna lose $1,000 next month, but I'm gonna bet the relationships that we cement and what we do after this far outweighs that. So, if you can help somebody even in a small way, now's the time. Now's the time to do that. Um, yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Next up for me is I get ready for my first live call with my students. I'm doing a Facebook Live for my private group. Um, I'm sure they're going to have lots of questions about the economy. Hopefully, we talk about their homework and what deals they're looking at in market. I think this is going to be fun. I hope the technology keeps up because the internet's getting hammered around here. But yeah, I'm going to look forward to see what my students have been doing. I've been using the Facebook group to answer questions via posts. But, you know, it's time of chaos like this. Maybe we should talk face to face or at least in real time. So I look forward to that. I've been looking forward to that all week. So I'll let you know what we talk about. See what happens. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. Enjoy Friday. Have a good weekend. Stay positive. Take care. Bye.